Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of Tom Talks. In today's episode, I'm going to be talking about perspective, how we should look at it and think about it from time to time. This episode is going to be more of like a real talk topic where I talk about current IRL situations and events. So if you're used to seeing and hearing me on streams and prefer me providing escapism and having a laugh, then this talk may not be the best listen for you, as I'll be talking and referencing real world current events. Don't worry though, I won't talk about it on stream or any other channel videos, just here. Radio. Perspective is something I believe we all need to think about from time to time. Like, you ever had a rough day at school or couldn't sleep because your bed wasn't comfy? Because I know I have. I lay there hating my current situation of not being comfy in my bed and wishing I had one to fall asleep ASAP. Or I'd come back from school hating the fact that I double maths that day, and it was ruined. In the moment, they feel like the worst thing ever, when in reality they're not at all. They're barely a problem. I mean, when I was a teenager thinking like this, a few real good teachers and my family would always remind me I had it easy and that I'm very lucky in my situation. There's kids out there who dream of an education, homeless people who dream of a blanket, let alone a bed. And my teachers and family would tell me, just be thankful for what you have, because there's 100% chance someone has less than you and someone isn't as lucky as you. It took me a few years to realize this. It may be the arrogance of a teenager's mindset, as we all ignore our parents at that age and think we know best. I was telling my mum, "Oh, you know nothing." I can remember it, but I would never thought that I was just a bit of an arsehole at that age. And then as soon as I entered my 20s, I was like to my parents, I'm like, "God, you're an arsehole." Like, I was an arsehole when I was a teenager. She's like, "Oh yeah, but all teenagers are like that." Well, most teenagers, but anyway. And yeah, I did not know best. So if you're in a rough situation, listen to this video. I don't want you thinking you shouldn't feel upset or guilty, or you should feel upset or guilty for your current circumstance, and that you shouldn't feel like you have to put it into perspective. Like, if you happen to be in a war-torn country or area, in poverty, or having like a real rough childhood, please don't worry about this. Like, you have you've got it a lot worse than a lot of people, and you don't need to worry. Just worry about like what's next for yourself. I mean, especially what's going on in certain countries at the minute. Like, if you are in a lucky and privileged position like myself, then I would ask to think about this from time to time and put your current problems into perspective compared to the rest of the world, and see that it could be so much more worse. It's humbling. A lot of people still don't see it and come off as arrogant and selfish. We're all on this planet together. We should all be able to enjoy life and not worry about little things thinking they're bad and life changing. You got a flat tire. I know, someone hasn't got a house anymore because it got bombed. Like, some problems just aren't that bad, and we don't know any different because it hasn't happened to us yet. You know, Nothing worse has happened, like significantly life changing, like a flat tire. Just, it's not a problem. It's just a hindrance. I mean, with with everything going on with the wars currently, I've recently been thinking about how pathetic I've sounded when complaining about my job or traffic. Now knowing that there's a family of three, for example, out there right now trying to avoid bombs and missiles. Completely innocent people trying to survive daily but unable to move. And here's me getting really annoyed because I can't get home early from work due to heavy traffic. It's really sad. And I have to take myself out of my current situation and be like, look, Tom, shut up. Oh no, you're not getting home to your lovely house. Not saying my house is lovely, but just, you're not getting home. There's people who aren't ever going to go home, for God's sake. Like, just think about it. And I've talked with a few Ukrainian people at work, and the stories they tell me just puts me and others to shame, honestly, about how we go about our day sometimes. I go home to my family, they go home to a house that's their new home, and maybe their kids are there, but the rest of their family is still in Ukraine fighting for peace. It's really upsetting to hear. And it's, as I said before, it's humbling to me, and I hope so to others, that, we've got it easy. It's it really is about putting things into perspective. And definitely this year, I've been just thinking, like, it could be so much worse. Just get on with your day, help others out when you can, and make life a bit more enjoyable for those who have had it rough recently. And that's why I love streaming and entertaining, because providing escapism, takes you out of that. I can't run into, like, Israel or Iran or Ukraine or Russia and go, stop the fighting, and just win the war. I can't do that. I wish I could stop all fighting, but I can't. But what I can do is provide escapism for those in those situations, just to take their mind away from it and try and give them a good old smile. You know. Um, Thank you for listening, gamers. I really hope this video has been helpful and understandable. I know it's a bit more of a deeper topic than I've ever talked about, but this is what this channel is for. Life lessons, fun stories occasionally, and real talk. Take care, gamers, and yeah, see ya.